good? It's your boy 2K here, and I'm back. Got my man Big Kool from Colossal Boxing Talk. If you watched the beginning of this video, we had a tribute to his mother, Karen Jasper, who passed away recently. I wanted to give my man Big Kool a shout out. He knows that we all had him in our prayers for the duration of her battle with her health issues, and now she's made it to a better place. And I just wanted to give her a tribute to my brother, man. This is the movement. This is what we do for our family. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Miss Karen Jasper. May she rest in peace. How you doing, Big Kool? How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Appreciate the shout out. You know, she's watching over from above, but man, I'm ready to get back to, talking boxing with my brothers. It's therapeutic, while I still, mourn the loss of her. But, she'll want me to move on, move forward, and become the great young man that she raised me to be, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. Stay on that grind, because this, being successful, doing what you love, this is something that she would want you to do, right? If she were here,
Yep.
and now that she's not here, she still wants you to be the most successful man that you can be. You know what I'm saying? So you're absolutely right, man. I'm glad that you're back, and I'm glad that you're feeling well, my brother.
Appreciate that, man.
So let's get into some boxing. So what we got this weekend, man? We got Lamont Peterson versus Errol Spence. Of course, Errol Spence will be having his first title defense of the IBF 147-pound title that he won off of Kell Brook after he broke that nigga's other eye socket. You know what I'm saying? Then we got my man Robert Easter Jr. on the undercard against probably the most popular ESPN fighter I've ever seen, Javier Fortuño, man. I always say this shit about Fortuño. I remember seeing this motherfucker fight on ESPN Monday through Friday. You know what I'm saying? Bruh.
Yeah.
Like, back in maybe 2009, 2010. I'm telling you, dog, ESPN only had Wednesday and Friday night fights. And I think they got rid of Wednesday night fights in 2009. So they had Friday night.
So.
Yeah. So they had Friday night fights. But I swear I seen this motherfucker on a Sunday fighting on ESPN, B.
Nigga fight like a prospect, cuz this nigga's 30 fights in.
Yeah, bro. I was like, when they gonna put this motherfucker on a network, on a real premium primetime network? You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
They finally did. Got in there with Jason Sosa, was winning the entire fight, ended up getting knocked out, and I believe in the 11th round, and that's how Jason Sosa became a champion with his name etched in the history books at the 130-pound division, right? 135 pounds anyway. So, let's start off with that fight, man, before we get into the big one. Robert Easter Jr. versus Javier Fortuño, man. I'm passing my man Big Kool. How do you see that fight playing out? Give me your breakdown analysis, brother.
I'm not the breakdown aficionado that you are, but I'm a big fan of Robert Easter Jr. I have been fortunate to see Javier Fortuño fight. He's wild. He's a southpaw, but he's very skilled offensively. Has some good hand speed. Definitely has some pop. Good combination puncher, but he squares himself up. He lunges in with his chin exposed, head down. And if Robert Easter Jr., Bunny, he like to call himself, is on his P's and Q's, this fight should be easy. He should destroy Fortuño at any given moment. He's more athletic. He's faster, I believe. He's more powerful. He's more technically and fundamentally sound when he's disciplined. And the key word is, discipline. He has to be disciplined. He has to be focused mentally, and he has to be in tune with his opponent, because if he is, caught slipping in this fight, he can be stopped, because Fortuño is a very good offensive fighter. And I heard you reference that, on some of the podcasts we've done when talking about Fortuño. So a guy that's offensive minded and that can get it done on the offensive end could definitely cause Robert Easter Jr. some problems. So he cannot give up his height, because he's 5'11", 6 feet tall.
Yes, sir.
He's going to have to pump that jab. There's nothing wrong with winning the decision as long as you show the skills, the discipline, and you control and dictate the pace of the fight. The knockout is going to come. But if you go, seeking it, you can get yourself in a firefight like he had against Denis Shakakov a few months ago, man, which a fight you could argue that he lost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's up for debate, but I think Robert Easter Jr. is going to be too much for Fortuna, who is moving up from 130 to 135. I think that Robert Easter Jr. has to make a statement and show that he can be consistent, can be that guy that we all think he can be. It starts with this fight. He cannot have another lackluster performance, or you're gonna start to look at him like you look at Oscar Valdez and some of these other guys that started off strong but kind of looking a little sketchy.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's actually a quote that you told me earlier today that's alluding to the fact that he understands what he has to do. What did he say?
I'm not looking at it. I had to pull it up, but pretty much he insinuated that he has to fight tall. He made the fight with Shaka Khan harder than it had to be. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't disciplined. He wasn't focused, and he was just planning on fighting focus and fighting how he's supposed to fight. And he really pretty much doesn't expect Fortuna to give him too much of a challenge if he's on his A game.
Word up, word up. I agree with him. This is the thing about Robert Easter Jr., and you've already talked about this. He seems to think that he has something to prove in there. Robert Easter Jr. is very reminiscent, not even reminiscent, they're both fighting in the same fucking era. He's very similar to Rances Barthélemy, right? Rances Barthélemy is the same height. I think they're both 5'11". The only difference is I believe Rances Barthélemy has like a 3 inch less of a reach than Robert Easter Jr. has. But they both understand, and they both have the skill set that they're able to fight from the outside, and they can dominate fights from the outside. But for some reason, there's a mental block with both of these guys where they end up allowing their opponent to close the distance because they prefer to be closer to their opponent. And it pretty much just negates their height and it negates their reach, and they end up in close fights. I mean, common opponent was Denis Shafikov, just as my man Big Kool mentioned, right? And Denis Shafikov got in Rances Barthélemy's ass just like he was getting in Robert Easter Jr.'s ass, and it was for the same fucking reason. You see what I'm saying? And when I watched Rances Barthélemy fight Shafikov, man, I couldn't sit down. I was standing up yelling at the TV the entire fucking 12 rounds, dog. Just yelling. What the fuck are you doing? Nigga, get on the outside. Nigga, why you letting him on the inside? And it to me, it's either one or two things. It's a mental block, or it's a situation where they feel they have something to prove, or it could be both, right? The problem here with Robert Easter Jr. is that Javier Fortuna is a very formidable opponent. Not saying that Shafikov wasn't, but actually a lot of people felt that Denis Shafikov was robbed against Robert Easter Jr., right? Even though he won that fight by UD, they felt he was robbed. In this situation, Javier Fortuna is a much more known opponent than Denis Shafikov. I mean, he's from the States. He fought on ESPN, as I just mentioned earlier in this video, for like 17 years. You know what I'm saying? They know who Fortuna is, and he's a former champion at 130 pounds. Now, the thing here, the big elephant in the room is, like my man Big Kool just mentioned, he's coming up in weight. How will that affect his abilities in the ring coming up in weight, right, to 135? But power is usually the last thing to go, right? And we're talking about 5 pounds in between. I mean, it's from 130 to 135. It's not that big of a difference in terms of power. It does take a toll on your body because you have to weigh a lot more in order to get down to 135, right? Than actually, you would if, let's say you're moving from 105 to 108, straw weight to light flyweight, right? But and whatever the case is, power is the last thing to go. He has 33 wins and 23 knockouts, which is a decent knockout ratio. So if Robert Easter Jr. fucks around and allows his chin to get touched because he feels like he doesn't want to take the fight to the outside, he wants to give up his height like he did against Richard Commey, Shafikov, and Luis Cruz, right? His last 3 fights. Well, then he could definitely get touched. He's already been dropped in his career against Commey, right? Did they call it? What did he get dropped?
No, they didn't call it. I think it was either he was real close or he did get dropped, but they didn't call it.
Yeah,
I had to go back and look at that.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was real close. Same thing with Commey. I remember Commey did like some squats and shit off a
Hell
punch.
yeah.
And that nigga had the lowest squat I ever seen in my life, dog, and he still didn't go down. You know what I'm saying?
Who the motherfucker that squat like that? He do that on purpose though. I forget the motherfucker name.
Ah
He
man,
squat when he go to punch. Damn, who it is? It don't matter, but it'll come to me later. But shit, it reminded me of that shit.
yeah, bro. I had never seen a squat like that before in my life, dog, in a boxing ring, man. And he was damn near down. His legs were very strong. He was able to recover. But yeah, that is up for question. You two go ahead and help us out on that. Now that I think about it, I don't think Robert Easter Jr. has been dropped, but he has been rocked. And I feel like he was hurt against Denis Shafikov, and he was definitely rocked against Richard Comey. So Javier Fortuna, who, like Big Kool mentioned, is a offensive juggernaut. He could definitely have the opportunity to rock a guy that's given up his height and reach. Understand, I think he's 5 inches taller, and I believe he has like a fucking 9-inch reach advantage. You know what I'm saying? Or an 8-inch reach advantage. There's absolutely no reason why Robert Easter Jr. should be moving on the inside in this fight. Now,
Nope.
if he actually is able to dictate the pace properly, stay on the outside, use his height, use all of his reach, how do you see this fight going?
I eventually think he either gonna UD him or he's gonna get Fortuna extremely frustrated. And like I said, Fortuna, excuse me, squares himself up. He lunges. He comes in with his hands down, his chin exposed, and he could walk into a left hook or perfectly timed uppercut from Easter Jr. Either way, if he's disciplined, like I said earlier, and like you said, and like we said, but numerous times, if he's disciplined, especially against guys that's not on his level, he should never struggle. He should never, ever, ever struggle with guys like Shafikov, Fortuna, Comey. It should not happen.
Right.
You know, we're not talking about Linares or Robert Garcia or any of those upper echelon guys that's on his level. You know what I'm saying? So if he does what he's supposed to do, he stops him or wins a easy unanimous decision. But if he doesn't, he's going to end up getting like Paul Williams, knocked out because he can be reckless. And Paul Williams was my dog, but when you go again, he's facing a southpaw too. Both of them were southpaws, but you know, Easter is a orthodox fighter, but still, southpaws are tricky with that left hand. You know, the overhand left.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got to watch out for Fortuna. But if he fights discipline, man, he should win easy.
Yeah, I really like the Paul Williams reference you made because back when Robert Easter Jr. was a nobody, I was telling people he was my prospect of the year in 2014. You know what I'm saying? I at that time I felt like he was gonna be the Paul Williams of 135. That's what I felt. But it turns out that he has all the abilities. He obviously has the physical stature, but he doesn't execute properly to be the Paul Williams of 135, right? But I do like your reference in saying that if he gets fucking caught in the middle, squaring up, like he did against Sergio Martinez, he will get caught. You know what I'm saying? Also, against Carlos Cantana. That's how Carlos Cantana beat his ass.
Beat that ass.
Yeah,
yep.
and took his O. And Carlos Cantana's not a guy that should have even been in the same league as Paul Williams, but it's that mental block that we talked about, right? For some reason, Paul Williams was allowing him to close the distance, and he ended up losing a decision. Now, he came back in the rematch, knocked his ass out in the first round, but that's either here nor there because you already lost to the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So this could definitely be another Carlos Cantana versus Paul Williams situation if Robert Easter Jr. is caught squaring up on the inside, not using his height and reach. Before we move to the next fight, by the way, this will be Robert Easter Jr.'s third title defense of the IBF 135-pound title. Big ups to him, man. I think he wins this fight rather easily if he stays true to what he said in the media about using his height and reach. If he doesn't, this can be a close fight for no fucking reason.
hey, let me say one thing too, Kevin, before we go on to the main event.
Yep.
I'm gonna pose a question. I don't want it to drag off too long, but if he looks like he hasn't improved in this fight, do you think it's time to look at his corner for changes? I know, the father-son relationship is one that's true to the heart, you know what I'm saying? But that shit right there can get you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? When you don't know when to let go and let somebody else, you know, who can better assist your son in reaching his potential. Because it'll be 4 fights in a row where he look like complete shit. You know what I'm saying? And you can't go from 2014 prospect of the year, a guy that can be a mixture of Paul Williams, Tommy Hearns, to looking like, damn, dude, you can't put it all together. So I think that if he struggles, you know, I think you may have to look at his corner for adjustments and maybe, you know, getting out of Toledo, Ohio, training somewhere else or whatever it may be, because you got to start looking at the corner as well,
Yeah.
not just the fighter.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. This is the thing. I really like father-son relationships, right? Hell, I will be having one with my son as he gets older and he enters the boxing game. But at the same time, we have to realize when the father is not teaching the son everything that he needs to know to become an elite fighter and to maintain his eliteness, right? A good example is fucking Danny Garcia and Angel Garcia, right? What did Angel tell Danny when he was losing to Keith Thurman? This motherfucker said, "Bend your knees."
That's what he said. Didn't he say that against Mauricio Herrera too? Yeah. You're not bending your knees.
And it's like,
what is that?
Bending your knees is like the lowest priority in which you need to be telling this motherfucker he needs to do. The biggest thing is he needs to stop waiting. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta initiate the action.
You know, and then, you know, you see that in boxing a lot with father-son relationships. The son will be so good that he's able to blow through the lower ranks. As a prospect, he's blowing through these cats. He's becoming a contender. He's won his bigger fights to be a respectable contender in his home division. But then he gets in the ring with that elite motherfucker. And your dad has not prepared you, or he himself is not prepared to be able to give the proper instructions in real time when your son is hit with adversity. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we could be seeing here, dog. So I agree with you. I think this is the fight right here that should tell us, hey, you should either leave your father and go somewhere else where these cats can maximize your potential, or maybe he changes it up and maybe we need to see another fight with his father and see if he can maintain that. So, yeah, this will be a good barometer for that. That's a good question. All right. Now let's move to the main event. And this is what I like to call lawn chair season, motherfuckers. You know why? You know why? Because I'm going to give you the prediction before I even do the goddamn breakdown. Because Errol Spence is about to take Lamont Peterson like one of them $10 lawn chairs you get from Walmart, fold that nigga up, and put him back in the storage closet. That's what he thought. No disrespect to Lamont, you know what I'm saying? Because let me just say this. Real talk, Lamont Peterson is doing something that Keith and Gregory Josephine Thurman is not doing. You know what I'm saying? Now, I understand Keith and Gregory Josephine had a little elbow injury. You know what I'm saying? He had to be
jacking off too much.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker nutted on his elbow. The nut must have been acidic, so now he had an elbow injury. You know what I mean? So he had to be out for a little while. We understand that, you know. But don't tell us, bruh, when you got 2 fights lined up for 2018 that you already looking to fight the nigga in 2019. That shit's not going to fly with the movement. You know what I'm saying? We're going to jump all over that shit. And that's exactly what the fuck we've been doing, you know? So Lamont Peterson is doing something that Sean Porter ain't looking to do. Keith Thurman ain't looking to do. Danny Garcia ain't looking to do. And hell, Kell Brook tried to avoid, but he couldn't because Errol Spence was his fucking mandatory, so he had to take the fight, right? Lamont Peterson says, shit, I'll do it. I got to commend him for that. But at the same time I'm commending him, I got to be realistic, dog. You know? Just like Lucas Matisse folded him up, it's going to be the same way. What you think about this fight, fam?
Bruh, you know, I love Lamont Peterson as a fighter. But I was studying Errol Spence versus Kell Brook the other day. And we know, you can argue Kell Brook is naturally a junior middleweight that was able to make 147. Yeah. He wasn't able to keep Errol Spence off of him. Even though he rocked him, he hurt him some in that fight. You know what I'm saying? His power alone wasn't able to deter, Errol Spence, from pushing him back, from, just ripping the body shots, ripping the head shots, and eventually breaking that right orbital bone and making him quit. And there's nothing that Lamont Peterson does that say, you know what, that nigga can keep Errol Spence off of him. Or maybe he can outbox him, he can turn him, but Errol Spence can cut the ring off with the best of them.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? He's gonna rip those body shots. He's a bully. He's a bully with skill, not just one of those motherfuckers that just kind of, just overwhelm you with strength. This motherfucker got the technique, the mental fortitude to stick with his game plan, and he's gonna rip. I'm telling you, man, when he ripped them shots, and it's gonna make for a great fight while it lasts, because Lamont Peterson is a dog. He's flawed, but that motherfucker is a dog. He will throw out the game plan real quick. Ask Lucas Matisse. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker was doing all right against Matisse. First round, he won. And then that motherfucker said, you know what? He hit me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being too effective anymore from the outside. So let me make it a dog fight. Then he had a little success. But when that nigga tried to exchange left hooks, we seen what happened. He got folded up like a lawn chair. That nigga got stopped in the third round. And I just don't see anything that Lamont Peterson can do at this stage. Not any stage, just because the size differential, the style of fight. He's fighting a southpaw, even though Lamont Peterson is a terrific fighter. He's fought Amir Khan, Matisse, Garcia, which I thought he won. Victor Ortiz, the list goes on and on. He's a terrific fighter, but at this point, man, he's not going to be able to outbox Spence. He's not going to be able to outfight Spence. He's not going to be able to outsmart Spence. It's just Spence is on a whole nother level, just too big, just too strong, just too determined. And this is one of the simplest breakdowns ever. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm overlooking something, but you know what I'm saying? It's just whenever Spence say, whenever Derrick James let Spence out that cage, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be over. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't be surprised if Spence decided to go rounds because he's coming off of a 9-month layoff or whatever it may be. So he want to stay fresh just in case, one of these other guys want to kind of, fight him next. But
want to kind of fight him. I like that.
Yeah, want to kind of fight him. You know what I'm saying? Want to kind of fight him. But I expect this fight to go no longer than 6 to 8 rounds, man. I think Peterson probably win a couple rounds just because it's going to be a fill-out process, and you can't underestimate his body punching because you just never know because it still is a fight, and he can – work the body almost as well as Spence, but it's just too much Spence, man. Too young, too hungry, too talented. Yeah. Spence, A for LKO.
I agree. That's a good breakdown you put out there, man. And you did more than I would. I'm just gonna say a couple things. That's gonna be the end of the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, Lamont Peterson. One thing that I will say about him that I noticed is that I believe ever since he lost to Timothy Bradley. And maybe he did this subtly before that fight. And this, of course, was in 2009 when he lost to him. Maybe he did it more subtle before that. But to me, he dictated the pace a lot better before he got in the ring with Tim Bradley. And it seemed to me that he tried to make the Tim Bradley fight a more phone booth type of fight when he realized he couldn't outbox Tim Bradley, right? Mm-hmm. And since that fight, he's fought everyone the same way. I mean, he fought Victor Ortiz that way. That ended up being a draw. He fought Amir Khan that way. Now, that was the right way to fight Amir Khan because when he tried to box Amir Khan, he was getting his ass dusted in the first half of that fight. Then he said, fuck it. Let me put the pressure on this nigga, make this a phone booth type of fight because I see now that Amir Khan can't fight off his back foot. And that's what we saw. Amir Khan's backing up. This motherfucker kept pushing off. Hence why he got the point deducted, right? So that was the right game plan with Amir Khan. And he fought that way all the way up. He beat Kendall Hope that way. You know what I'm saying? He lost to Lucas Matisse because of that. He fought Deary John that way. In my opinion, he lost to Felix Diaz because of that. And he fought.
Got his ass with that fight.
Yeah, Felix Diaz outboxed the shit out of him. It was like, the Matador and the Bull. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, bring your ass on. Run into that run into that straight left. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it was was a slaughter in my opinion. I had Felix Diaz winning clearly. I think 8 rounds to 4, or something to that degree, right? So he fought this way. My point is, he's fought this way every single fight after the Tim Bradley loss in 2009. So it seems to me that this has become the style that he has ingrained in him as a fighter now. This is who he is. He's not going to outbox anybody anymore. He's going to bring the fight to you. But the problem here is this, as Big Kool already mentioned. He's too small. I think he's a small 147-pounder, dog. I think this is maybe his 3rd fight. And he could have fought a fight within the 147-pound limit previously in his career. I'm not looking at his box record or anything right now. But I believe
it was Matisse.
Okay. I believe this is his 3rd fight, though, within the 147-pound division, if I'm not correct. Maybe his 4th. Because I think he had Matisse, he had Garcia, he had Avanesian, and then now it's Errol Spence. And he might have fought some cats in between there within that division. But my point is, these are elite fighters that he's fighting, right? Mm-hmm. And this is probably his 4th elite fight at 147. And like you said earlier, Errol Spence is a guy that can easily make 154. You know what I'm saying? Hell, he might even be able to make 160, B. You know what I'm saying? So this is a big motherfucker that packs a wallop behind both hands. It's not just his left hand, it's both hands. And he goes to the body very well. Lucas Matisse knocked Lamont Peterson down with a shot to his motherfucking arm.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He went to the body. Lamont Peterson blocked it on his arm, but went down from it because of the force of the punch. So if Lucas Matisse is doing that to him between 140 and 147, then what the fuck you think Errol Spence is going to do to this cat? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot of body action. And you're going to see Lamont Peterson double over on the mat, dog. Hence why I say lawn chair season, fold it up. So to beat a guy like Errol Spence, I believe Kell Brook had the right mentality. He brought the right style. You know, he kept it a outside type of fight. He kept turning Errol Spence. He tried to keep the fight in the middle of the ring. But the problem is this, and a lot of people don't give Errol Spence his credit. He's a very smart fighter, right? And he adapts real time, as we saw in that fight, right? So what eventually happens is you see a meticulous breakdown technique that he's using against his opponent. You see what I'm saying? It's meticulous. And you'll subtly see it as each round goes by. And then eventually, he just takes over. And that's exactly what happened to Kell Brook. You see what I'm saying? In this fight, he's going to do the same thing, but it's going to be a lot faster for him to take over. I don't see this fight going past 5 rounds, dog. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's going to look like Algeria all over again.
Yeah.
When you say that, even though Pete is a better fighter, it's just when you facing a locomotive, man, a bulldog, it's just a motherfucker that's just peaking at the right time, man. It's just hard for whoever you are. And the touch him thing, a guy that I can see beating, Spence is the guy that's scared to fight him. You know, a guy that can move, that's a dual threat. You know what I'm saying? And that's in Bud and Keith Thurman, and maybe a Sean Porter, depends on what type of night Spence is having. But you know, Spence, man, is that guy in the making. I'm not gonna give him that title yet, even though we feel he's better than Thurman. Thurman is the man with 2 belts, so
absolutely
they gonna have to see each other. But we all know skill wise who that guy is, or who those guys are, in Crawford, and Spence. But like I said, man, Pete, you're gonna have other days at 147, but not Saturday night, man. You're getting folded up like a lawn chair. and that's simply what it's gonna be, man.
Man.
But you still, yeah.
He gonna fold that nigga up like a card table, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you pull the card table out, nigga. Play dominoes on that bitch, and then you fold it back up, put it in a storage unit, nigga. That's exactly what's about to happen, dog. He about to fold that nigga up and put him back on the side of the refrigerator between the cabinet.
Hell yeah, cuz not even gonna wipe the motherfucker off. Shit, he gonna need all the blood stains and everything on that motherfucker. Just like, here, man, just go, man. Go yell checkmate.
Word up. But nah, we doing all this clowning. But real talk, man. Big ups to Lamont Peterson. I watched him training a little bit before I end the show. I want to throw this out there. I watched him train a little bit, and he was doing a regimen where he was holding on to the rings that you use. I can't think of the name of them, but it's an ab workout. You hold on to these rings and you do a lot of your crunches vertically. He was holding on to those, and he was holding his position in a crunch, and his trainer was hitting his stomach with a medicine ball, and he was doing it repeatedly. Yeah, excellent training regimen, right? Yeah. Obviously, he understands that he's going in there with a killer to the body, so he's working his body. But I just think his style is just not going to bode well against a guy like Errol Spence. That is the major problem. If he could change his style, which that's not going to happen. I mean, he's already, so many years into the boxing game. He's a veteran now, dog. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, you know? Yeah. So he's who he is, and that is going to be the downfall for him, man. I see this fight knockout in round 5, dog. Real talk.
Also, before we wrap up, if by chance this fight goes the distance, let's not criticize Errol Spence, because I know motherfuckers are waiting for that shit to happen. You know what I'm saying? Let's not criticize Spence, because we know Lamont Peterson is a capable fighter. Yeah. Just because we're not giving him much of a chance, this is still boxing. Anybody can get beat or anybody can struggle at any point in any fight of their career. So let's not be a prisoner of the moment if this fight is tough and it goes to a decision, a close decision. You know what I'm saying? Because this is Spence is a champion, but he's still a young champion. And he's continuing to, get better and improve their resume. And Lamont Peterson is obviously a guy he has to face to continue, to see where he's at in his young career. So let's keep things in perspective. All you motherfuckers that hate Heyman fighters or hate, Spence, just pump your brakes on this shit, just in case that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you addressed that, because that's gonna happen. They already hating on Spence right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna happen. Lamont Peterson, in my eyes, is a top 7 welterweight. You know what I'm saying? And I think he's a better fighter at welterweight than Adrian Broner. If those two ever met, which they won't, because Lamont Peterson doesn't want to fight his friend, I think he beats Adrian Broner, and that puts him in the top 7 in my opinion. And that's a stacked division. When you say top 7, you're just like, well, nigga, you know what I'm saying? You got 3 elites, and then the rest are just regular fighters. No, you got a bunch of elite fighters sitting in one stacked ass division, and he's top 7 in that division. So that's a pretty good recognition, in my opinion, to have him there. So he's definitely a capable fighter. He's a very good fighter. He has a chance against other fighters in the division, but just not this one. You know what I'm saying?
Not this one. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it ain't gonna happen this time. And don't forget, Devin Alexander, he coming back too, so he, maybe they can fight each other after he get folded.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Devin Alexander, I believe, is fighting February 17th, if I'm not mistaken, in El Paso, Texas, against Victor Ortiz. I'm watching that fight because I just want to see the motherfucker quit again. You know what
Victor
I'm saying?
the Quitter Ortiz, man.
Word up. Any news on if y'all looking for information on boxing, the upcoming schedule and all that, check out 3kingsboxing.com. We got a schedule up there, man. We keep it pretty up to date. Also on the homepage, we got the 5-star fights on there. It's pretty much what we consider the best fights that are already on the docket for 2018. You can check it on the homepage at 3kingsboxing.com. Man, I'm so glad to have done a show with my man Big Kool, you know what I'm saying, during this time. I'm glad he's back. It's about to be a whole new motherfucking year. Go check him out on Colossal Boxing Talk, you know what I'm saying, on YouTube. My man is about to come back. He's about to bring that motherfucking fire, man. Real talk.
Yes, sir, man. And every time we link up, man, it's always a hell of a show. And I look forward to doing more, with the rest of the movement. We one team, you know what I'm saying, with just different killers, you know what I'm saying? We just like the 92 Olympic team, you know what I'm saying? Jordan, Magic, Bird, everybody, man. We all bring something to the squad, and we are forced to be reckoned with, man. We the Avengers, we the whatever you want to call it, man. We those guys.
Absolutely. Shout out to the whole movement, man. YouTube, do what you do in the comment section. Be real. Who do you think is going to win this fight between Errol Spence and Lamont Peterson? A better question, does Lamont Peterson even have a chance? Matter of fact, an even better question, does Lamont Peterson have a chance to go 12 rounds? Do what you do. do what you do. This is Real Talk for real fans. Shout out to the movement. One.